Welcome to the Power Brokers Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Santini. Find us wherever you get your podcast. You can also catch the video version on YouTube. Today we have with us Frank Verna, manager for the Lower Keys and Key West, Florida for Coldwell banker Schmitt Real Estate. Frank has over 30 years experience in the industry and specializes in giving customers an exceptional real estate experience. Hey, Frank, how's it going today?
I'm doing great, Joe. How are you doing? I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. Great. Glad you're on. I always start out the same way. How did you get your start in our crazy business?
That's a good question. I obtained my license back in 1993, and I was kind of doing hit and miss, because I had other obligations and stuff. And I decided to go full time into real estate literally right like 2 weeks after 9/11. So when everything was going crazy, that's when I said, "Oh, maybe now's the time to get started in real estate full time." So I that's where it began. Started in Fort Lauderdale, in Florida, and uh, worked with a Century 21 office, and then I went to Remax. I was with Remax for a long time, and then Keller Williams, and then opened my own office. And I had my own office for a very long time since then, and then I've managed. I sold the office. I went into management and worked with Sotheby's as a managing director. Reopened another office again, and now I'm down here in the Keys and enjoying life.
What a history. And you did what any smart Floridian does. They head south to the Keys.
Yeah, yeah. This is the land of boats.
That is awesome. And where are you originally from, Frank?
I'm from New York. I was born and raised in Queens. I left New York in my late 20s.
Gotta love that. So listen, anybody who goes to the Keys knows Schmidt Real Estate. We see the offices on our way down.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about Coldwell banker Schmidt and the offices that you cover.
Excellent. This is actually our 70th year in business. The company was started by Brian Schmidt's dad, and it was Schmidt Real Estate back then. We joined Coldwell Banker in 1983 and became a franchise owner of the Coldwell Banker brand. Currently, there are 5 offices. So you have Key Largo, Islamorada, Marathon, Big Pine Key, or the Lower Keys, and Key West. And we have another office coming online in January in Cudjoe Key. So we truly cover the Keys. We are the only broker in the Florida Keys that has done in excess of $1 billion in volume. We're the only one listed in the Real Trends 500. And we are the only company that truly covers the Keys from one end to the other.
Really impressive. And I know, yeah, you have such a presence down there. So where exactly is your office? Where do you hang out? Do you move between the offices or are you in Marathon? Where are you based out of?
I started in Marathon, and then we had a shift, and I took over the office in Big Pine Key, which is the Lower Keys, and then I'll be doing Cudjoe Key when that opens, and I manage the Key West office. I do travel between offices, so I have kind of a rotating schedule to be able to touch all the offices every week.
That's great. And, as far as like agent count, like how many agents do you oversee in those several offices?
So we have about 160 agents in total. The agents that I manage are just about 75, 80 agents.
Good to know. Yeah. So interesting. I always kind of compare it to like the Hamptons,
Yeah,
from being
yeah.
from New York. I'm like, it's kind of like a similar setup, right? So everybody's fascinated by Key West. I know every time I go down there, Frank, as soon as I get there, I just tell my wife, I'm moving here. I'm ready right now. And then, reality sets in and then you head back. So what's the market like in Key West right now? Is it a seller's market, buyer's market?
So in Key West is kind of its own animal, right? And a lot of people don't realize this, but Key West operates separately of the county. Even though it's in Monroe County, they have their own rules, their own administration, their own oversight, their own police department. So they operate completely separate from the county. And the amount of interest and people that want to come down there is pretty consistent. So interestingly enough, we are ahead in dollar volume over last year. So we're doing much more business dollar wise, although the number of transactions has declined. But given our current numbers year to date, overall, the market is up 4% in value, though the number of transactions has declined about 15%. But there's still demand. We still have, if the houses are priced right, they don't last long. And Key West has a lot of different rules and regulations that a lot of people don't realize. There's we have information in regards to transient rental, long-term rental, whether it's in a historical district, the type of property that it is. So there's actually a lot of rules to that you have to understand and know in order to do business in Key West. And but that keeps up the interest. So a lot of people are still buying properties. We're not having a problem selling them.
Very interesting. And for the listings that you have now, is there like multiple offers like every time you have a listing, or is it just certain properties?
Joe, that's interesting because it really depends. It depends on the type of property. The most in-demand properties are obviously the ones with transient licenses, where you can do like Airbnb and things like that, or VRBO. Um, and there's certain sections where that's allowed in Key West, and other areas you can't. Right? Some areas you can do long-term rental, but you can't do short-term rental. So it's those are the transient licensed properties are always the highest in demand.
Interesting. It makes sense. And where would you say that most of your buyers come from? What states are they coming from, or, what country are they coming from?
Well, by far overall in the Keys, the vast majority are in Miami. That they buy second homes down here or they move down here, and that is definitely our biggest market draw. Secondly, would be Long Island, New York. In New York would be the next one, and then Chicago. And we're also starting to see an influx of people. Well, we have been having an influx of people from California. A lot of people get the same idea. Hey, it's on the water. It's got the sun, so it's going to be kind of similar. Very much. I think our market outside of Key West, the market is very much like the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And so but in Key West, it's definitely much more like you were saying in the Hamptons, that kind of demand and draw.
Very interesting. And then I would think most buyers, it's their second home or third home. It's a part-time deal for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have homes that are owned generationally. so, it's been through two, three, four generations within the same family, having property. So we do have a lot of long-term owners as well, which is very interesting. 70% of the housing inventory here is owned free and clear.
Interesting. And so if I call you up one day and say, Frank, listen, I'm ready to relocate to Key West, what are the prices like? Like, what's entry level just to even get there?
So the cost of admission here right now is about 1.5 million overall in the Keys. In Key West, you're going to be hard. It's going to be hard to find a decent home under 1.5. So if you do, you're looking at something that needs rehab and needs some work. And that's not to say that there are condos that you can get, but if you're looking at single family homes, you're definitely looking at 1.2, 1.5 and above to get something that would be usable right away. Outside of the Keys, especially in the lower Keys, you're looking at 1.8, $2 million is very common right now as a price range.
So it's higher as you go outside of Key West.
Well, the water access, right? So it's all
Got it.
about Key West. Actually, believe it or not, has very limited water access. So there's not a lot of homes that have docks in the back. Whereas if you go north toward Summerlin, Sugarloaf, Cudjoe Key, Big Torch, Little Torch, Rockland Key, and here in Big Pine Key, you're going to find a lot more homes that actually have canals and where you can put in a big boat or at least have access to the ocean.
Interesting. So if I'm coming down, like what's the best key to buy on? Like I always have fun in Key West, but my most peaceful moments are in like Isla Mirada or Marathon. So if I was coming down, where would be like the best value or the best investment to buy? Which key?
That's a good question. There's definitely a little, Isla Mirada in particular really reminds me of like the Southampton kind of crowd, East Hampton, Southampton kind of thing. And you're going to find way more amenities and the conveniences in the northern part of the Keys. In the middle part, like in Marathon, it's a little more spread out, a little less active. But there are times of the year where it does get very active, and you do have access to the airport in Marathon Key, in Marathon, which allows you'll see a lot of private planes, and they just redid the runway to allow for commercial flights. So we're hoping to get some commercial flights back in. But my personal favorite is right here in Big Pine Key. I think overall you get the best value for your money because you can still get homes on the water. And there are areas where you can maybe find a home at the million or just under the million mark. You're not going to get a big boat in there. But if you have a 20-footer, 25, even up to maybe a 30, you can find a home in that lower range. So there's a lot of opportunity for a good value overall in Big Pine Key. And then Key West would be like downtown. It's about 40 minutes away, and you can get more of the name brand stuff down in Key West.
I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like a great area. And, just living where you live, I mean, it's kind of fun every day. Just walking out the door, you're having fun. It's so beautiful and tropical. But listen, you are off at times. So when you're off, what are you doing for fun? What is somebody that lives in the Keys? What are you doing? Hopping on the boat?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I like about Big Pine Key. There are a few places where it's really easy access to go to the Gulf or out on the ocean, right? And Big Pine happens to be one of them. And I'm literally on the canal. I go straight out, right under the bridge, and boom. Either way, I can go right into the Gulf or left into the ocean, and it's only a few minutes out. So, the fishing is phenomenal. The most of the time the weather is phenomenal. Summer gets a little hot, but this is like the best time of year to be down here, right? This is why you're down here, is during the holidays and through the spring. It's been really nice. Last year was amazing. I'm hoping to have a repeat of last year. So, but there's a lot of other things in that you can see and do that a lot of people don't realize. We have the Blue Hole, which is a fascinating area to see here in Big Pine Key. It's a super deep freshwater hole in the ground that you can see pretty much all the way down, and it's super super deep. So there's like a big freshwater bubble underneath the salt water. That's and you can get some different kinds of fishing. And the fishing, I get snook coming in. You can't even fit it on the screen. Snook coming into my canal like that are just huge. I mean, easy, 100 pounds, 80 pounds coming into the canal. So there's always the deer are amazing. We have deer coming right up to the house, and just hiking. Just some go through the deer habitat reserve is great as well. So there's a lot of things that we do And then there's always community events. So there's things to do all year round.
And what was the name of that blue hole? I've never heard of that. What is the name of it?
Yes, it's actually called the Blue Hole, and it's in Big Pine Key, and it's just down Key Deer Boulevard. When you get into as you get into the preserve, and there's a turnoff there where you can and a rise where you can see and everything in the hole, and it's an amazing view. If you get a chance, look it up, and you'll see. It's just one of those things you got to see to understand.
Sounds like definitely something to put on your bucket list.
Oh yeah.
Frank, you've been in the business a while. That says a lot about you, and you've had different positions. You're a seasoned manager down there doing a lot of business. So, if I asked you, like, what is one thing that made you successful? If you had to pick only one thing that's really helped you and kept you in this business at a high level, what would that be?
The I can tell you this is once you get past understanding that you really don't have any competition. A lot of agents think they're competing with other agents, but that's not really the truth. What they're competing against is invisibility. So the only reason that agent does more business than you is because they know more people than you do. They have more people in their database. So once you understand that, and understand that a big part of your business is marketing and promotion, then you get past that wall. I think my personal opinion is, most agents fail because they just don't understand how to reach out to people, right? And leads fix everything. So if you have enough leads, you're never going to have a problem. But it's really that's it. There is no competition. The only thing you're competing against is how many people know who you are and what you do.
Well, that really makes it clear to agents like what they have to do. I mean, get out there, be seen. Your activity level is really going to equal your income. So, really well said, and so true. If you want to find out more about real estate opportunities in the Florida Keys, you can connect with Frank at realestatefloridakeys.com. And remember to hit the follow button to catch the next episode of the Power Brokers Podcast. Next week, we're heading out to San Francisco. Frank, thank you so much for jumping on today. Really informative, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe, and it was a pleasure being here. And hope to see you in the next podcast.
Awesome.